Hello, greetings to BAM International on this glorious day. As Bishop was sharing just a few minutes ago, you know, when you're saved, the sky is bluer, the grass is greener. And so that is the day that we are living in today. Today, the grass is greener, the sky is bluer. And we do want to welcome Steve there in Oxford today. Welcome to BAM International. And so today, I get to talk to you guys about finances, about money. And about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting down getting my hair cut. You know, I had to look good, of course. And I was talking to the salon, the person cutting my hair, and as we were chatting, she had this great story for me. She was talking about, she was sitting and she had somebody in her chair before, and she goes, I've been witnessing to her for a few months now. And she goes, you know, when you start witnessing to somebody, you get that fire built up inside. You get the compassion that Bishop was just talking about. And then the lady turns around and looks at her. And this is where I got my message for today. Now, is that what you were taught? Or is that what you believe? So we apply that to our finances today. You know, we believe a lot of things. Or sorry, we were taught many things. But do we really believe it? And so when we look at that, you know, because I looked at what taught and believe. You know, we're taught the word. But believing it just goes down deeper. And so when I was kind of preparing for this message, I was looking at, you know, I was trying to think of some stories. You know, you're supposed to go to the word and find something out of the Bible. And I thought about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You know, they really had to know what they believed. Because they were sentenced to death. So when you're looking at just general things of life, standing up for your morals, standing up for what you believe in, are you willing to die for it? And for our, you know, just they were willing to die for their salvation, knowing that God is their Savior. You know, you can look at Daniel. Daniel was also sentenced to death. And up until the last second, he would have realized, hey, if I was just taught this, he would not allow them to throw him in the den of lions. You know, because, hey, you find out really quick when you're sentenced to death if you were taught or if you believe it. And, you know, the day we live in, the news talks about ISIS. They stand on your doorstep. They hold a gun to your face. You're going to find out really quick what you're taught or if you really believe. You know, another story, we've been talking about Moses lately. You know, we've been coming from Passover, the blood being applied to our lives, and then walking through this journey, counting up to the days of Pentecost. And going through that journey, you know, Moses did that many, many years ago, and he had to really know if he really trusted in God. Because, you know, one of the stories that stood out to me when he fled Egypt, and then God called him back to Egypt to rescue the Israelites, he knew the way back to Egypt. And then God took him and the Israelites out a different way. He had to know and trust in his God that he led them because he was taught. He knew the way back to the land that they were heading to. But he had to know and believe in the God that was leading him back out. So now what about our tithes and offerings? Because that's today. You know, because God has a purpose. You know, we've been taught the word many, many times of what giving really is, especially in this house. And, you know, throughout the land, people have been taught, you ask anybody, they know God requires 10%. That is what they know. That's what they've been taught. In this house, we have been taught giving goes down deeper. Giving is our teruma. There's tithes, as in plural. There's offerings, as in plural. So in this house, that is what we've been taught. So now, what is it that we believe? And when I was first taught about tithes, teruma, and offerings, I did it out of obedience. Because that's what I was taught, and I obey. And the scriptures do say obedience is better than a sacrifice. So with that, so if you are giving out of obedience, it is a good thing. Because that is still better than a sacrifice. the blessings still apply. But now I'm asking you guys to go down deeper. Make it a lifestyle. As I know when like I said, I did that, and I finally had something change. And what changed? I seen a difference in my life. I seen the difference, and I became where I knew what God says. I knew what the Word says of why He set up the tithes and offerings. So today, I just kind of wanted you guys just to kind of look at that. It's pretty much what I have for today. Just consider, is it what you were taught, or is it what you believe? And so, for those that are in BAM International, we have many ways of giving in the house. You can go to bami.org, and there is a giving tab. And there is also, if you click the BAM TV tab, there is buttons at the bottom. You have your Teruma, you have your tithes, and you have your digital missions. If you're in one of our local houses, you may at this time come on up and give your tithes, your offerings. And when you do that, I wanted to confess over you, because God has blessings. And these are things that we can believe. Yes, we were taught. It's in Malachi 3 is where, the teaching is. But when we move this and make this part of our lives, we can actually confess this over our lives. You move to the believer, you know this, you believe this. And so as you guys go ahead and give, today I wanted to confess over you because I believe in you as a giver. And I really believe that you do have a priest that feeds you meat. And the windows of heaven are open to you. And God does speak to you. You have abundance. The enemy and the devourer is rebuked and stopped. Your fruit and your job is protected. You get full income from your product. And people see that you are blessed, and they call you blessed. So when you're at your job, whether it's your business or as an employee, those around you will see that you are blessed. You live in a delightsome land. People look at your life and they see that it is a benefit to serve our God. And God is writing a book about you because He considers you His jewel, and you are spared in the day of trouble. So Father, right now I just pray over all those that gave today. Father, I know that you move with compassion over their lives because they stepped out and did your word. So Father, I thank you that your blessings are over them, and that they will see the difference in their life. And if they did this out of just obedience, that they will move past and make this life and move into a believer. So Father, I just praise you and I just thank you.